Have you ever felt emotionally abandoned while still being in a relationship? Not cheated on, not jealous, not openly rejected. Just slowly left alone. They were there, but not really there. Talise and Ned, but never fully heard you. They stayed, but their heart always felt somewhere else. And the most painful part, you couldn't explain your pain properly because nothing obviously wrong was happening. So you stayed quiet. You adjusted. You loved harder. And somewhere along the way, you started wondering if wanting closeness meant something was wrong with you. If this feels familiar, stay with me. Because what you experienced wasn't it wasn't neediness. It was avoidant attachment behavior, and understanding it might finally give your heart the clarity it has been begging for. Avoidant attachment is one of the most misunderstood patterns in human relationships. People often label avoidant individuals as cold, heartless, or emotionally unavailable, but the truth is far more complex and far more painful. Avoidant attachment is not about a lack of love. It's about a deep fear of emotional closeness. And when you love someone who fears intimacy, the relationship slowly turns into a silent battlefield where no one is screaming, yet everyone is bleeding. Many people walk away from these relationships carrying invisible wounds. They can't explain why the breakup hurt this deeply, why closure never came, why their self-worth quietly shattered even though they did everything right. This video is not here to blame. It's here to explain, to validate, and to help you finally understand what happened so you can stop blaming yourself for loving the way a human is meant to love. Avoidant attachment is formed long before adulthood, long before romantic relationships ever begin. It usually begins in childhood, in environments where emotional needs were ignored, dismissed, or punished. When a child learns that expressing feelings leads to rejection, embarrassment, or disappointment, they adapt. They stop asking. They stop expecting. They stop depending. Not because they are strong, but because they must survive. Over time, this emotional self-protection becomes a personality trait. I don't need anyone. I'm fine on my own. Emotions complicate things. These beliefs don't feel painful to the avoidant individual. They feel safe. Fast forward to adulthood. An avoidant person often appears confident, independent, and emotionally composed. They may be charming, intelligent, and deeply interesting. At first, they seem present, engaged, curious. But as emotional intimacy grows, something inside them begins to panic, because closeness activates old wounds. Vulnerability feels like danger. Dependence feels like loss of control. So they pull away. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Quietly. They stop sharing. They avoid deep conversations. They become busy. They need space. They minimize your emotions, sometimes without realizing it. And this is where the pain truly begins for the partner who loves them. Because loving an avoidant person slowly turns into emotional confusion. One moment you feel close. The next, distant. One moment you feel chosen. The next, invisible. You start walking on eggshells. You soften your words. You hide your needs. You tell yourself to be patient. You give more, hoping they'll feel safer. But the more you reach for connection, the more they retreat. This creates a push-pull dynamic that is emotionally exhausting. When you pull back, they move closer. When you move closer, they disappear. This inconsistency keeps you stuck, because it creates hope without security. And hope, when it's constantly delayed, slowly breaks the heart. One of the most painful aspects of avoidant attachment is emotional loneliness within a relationship. You're not alone, but you feel alone. You sit next to someone you love and still feel unseen. You express something vulnerable and receive silence. You ask for reassurance and feel guilty for needing it. Over time, this experience quietly damages yourself. You start believing, maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe I expect too much. Maybe love shouldn't feel this hard. But here is the truth many people need to hear. Wanting emotional closeness is not a flaw. It is not weakness. It is not neediness. It is human. Avoidant individuals don't pull away because you're too much. They pull away because closeness threatens the emotional walls they built to survive, and this becomes especially devastating during breakups. Avoidant breakups often happen suddenly, without long explanations, without emotional closure. One day, things feel okay. The next, they are distant or gone. They may say they need space. They may say they're not ready. They may say they don't know what they want, and you're left holding questions that never get answered. What makes it worse is how fine they seem afterward. They don't reach out. They don't explain. They don't process the breakup openly. This creates a cruel illusion that you are easily replaceable. But avoidant individuals don't escape pain, they suppress it. They disconnect from emotions because emotions feel overwhelming. They move forward without processing because slowing down feels dangerous. Inside them is a constant conflict